Hi, welcome back to Whiskey Tango Farms. My name is Brandon. Today I wanted to get a video together about what I wish I knew before starting with quail and what I would or wouldn't change after all these years of raising quail. I reached out to a few people in the quail community that have YouTube channels as well, and I wanted to get their answers to these questions as well, so you guys hear from them, not just me. What I would have really liked to know before we started raising quail at Whiskey Tango Farms is the fact that we were raising quail. So Kristen just ordered some eggs and bought an incubator from the local farm store and brought them home and started raising quail. I had no idea until they showed up. I went and changed it. It's been a fun journey, and it's been great learning about and doing quail. And the one thing I wouldn't change would be the community and everybody that's involved in the quail community and through YouTube. It's been great getting to know everybody and learning all the different things that they do to help them with their self-sufficiency lifestyle and all the different animals they raise in their homesteads and everything. It's been awesome. So that would be what I would never change about getting into quail and starting to raise quail.
One thing I really wish I knew about quail when I first started is just how hardy they are. When I first started raising quail, I was really concerned about how they would do in the wintertime, so I kept them in my garage in stacking cages, had drop pans underneath them. It is so much easier keeping them outside, letting the droppings fall straight to the ground, not having to empty dropping pans, and they are incredibly hardy. They handle temperatures well below zero, no problem at all. As long as you give them a windbreak, they are fine. Life is so much easier when I keep them outside and I don't have to empty dropping pans all the time. That's one thing I really wish I had known when I first started raising quail. All right, something that I've been doing with my quail that I will continue to do is provide them with a sandbox. Let me open this up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And the way I've designed my hutches, I've got this sandbox inside. I don't know if you can see that or not very well because it's probably pretty dark. But you know, it's a 2x4 on side. And it's worked so much better with a built-in sandbox like this than it does trying to provide them sand in a little container, because they just kind of kick it all out of there. They love to get in this sandbox. They spend most of their time in this sandbox. They lay most of their eggs in the sandbox and they come out just super clean. There's hardly ever anything stuck to the eggs. It makes it easy to collect them, and again, they love the sandbox. They hang out in here all the time, and it's just so much better than trying to provide them with a separate container with sand in it that they just kick out and waste all the sand in.
If you like any of this information in this video, please give me a thumbs up.
Hello everyone, this is Aaron from the Kilby Life. Brandon from Whiskey Tango Farms contacted me and asked me to answer a couple of questions. The first question is what I wish I knew before I started with quail. And the second, one thing you would or wouldn't change since you started with quail. And the first is actually easy, as I knew nothing about quail other than the fact that they were backyard friendly. And since I live in a city, it was actually necessary for me. So the short answer is everything. They are quite easy to raise, but the first thing that caught me off guard was the smell and the amount of poop in a cage system. Actually, here in an aviary, it's not as bad, but I knew they pooped, but I didn't realize it was going to be that much. But I guess my most difficult lesson to learn was what I need to do with chicks that had deformities when you hatch your own. Like, I understood that raising these birds for eggs and meat was, you know, there was going to be some killing, but euthanizing chicks was probably the most difficult thing for me. I understand that's life on any farm. You got a large farm or a small farm, but you're gonna have to make some tough decisions and just really learn what husbandry really is. And I guess the other thing I would change, one thing I would change was I would stick to jumbos. Not saying that colors or standards are bad, but from just a strict backyard meat production, egg production standpoint, my time is valuable. And it just seemed more efficient for me to stick to jumbos for meat and egg production. That's the only thing I would change, is not having so many years of just standards and colors instead of just sticking to the jumbos. And I guess one thing I would change for sure was that I waited so long to get into quail. I wish I would have done it sooner. Hope that helps. Kelli out.
Hi, Brooke, Kelli Quail Keepers. So let's talk about quail and what is the one thing that I wish that I had known before raising Coturnix quail is it's going to be 365 days a year of taking care of these babies, and even as they reach adult age, there's no sick days, there's no vacation, and you definitely need somebody that cares for your Coturnix quail as much as you do to be able to take a day off when needed. Number two on that account is coated wire, okay? Use coated wire, just spend a few more extra dollars initially to get your whole setup going, because if you don't, you're going to have problems with your feed and with bumblefoot, and it's just a hassle. It's just better to go for the coated wire. Just spend a few extra dollars, please. And so one thing that I would not change on my whole quail adventure over the last 2 years here at Kelli Quail Keepers, I would not change the interaction that I've had and the growth and development of friendships and just reaching people on a different level, providing information for them to be more self-sustainable. And number one is I love the kids and just the joy to see on their face when they get their chicks or when they hatch, and that's not anything that I would change, just the relationship that you get while raising Coturnix quail.
Hey guys, I was asked by Whiskey Tango Farms to answer a couple questions, and first question is what I wish I knew when I first started with quail. I wish I knew how beneficial they were on the homestead. They're an excellent source of meat and eggs, and I wish I would have known it sooner. Second question is, what is one thing I would or wouldn't change since I started my quail journey? I probably would have focused more on quail and less on chickens. We love our chickens, but quail are just, it's so beneficial to have grow quail for the eggs and the meat, and they're fun birds to hang out with.
Hi, I'm Kelli Connect from Feathered Connections in Utah, and I wanted to share with you one thing we would definitely change if we were to start over again with quail, and that is to make sure that our quail shed is a lot more mice proof. I think we would do a couple things different to make sure it was a lot more mice proof. Just to keep them out. They really can't get to a lot of the feed, but that doesn't mean they don't come around. And now we're so far into it, it's kind of hard to change things up. So that's one thing that we would definitely change. Something we wouldn't change is, I think, how we got started. At first, we tried the quail meat and tried quail eggs before we ever got into it. And we learned how to process quail for meat first. And then we decided we liked the meat and the eggs, and it was easy enough to raise the animal for meat that then we would get into it. And then we went ahead and got 50 quail chicks to get started, and they were all the exact same color. They were all jumbo pharaohs, and I think that helped a lot, so we also didn't get attached and have any names for anyone's in particular. So yeah, those are my tips, and hopefully that helps someone out there.
So raising quail on the homestead has been a blast, and I wouldn't change it at all. It's been a great addition to the homestead. We raise chickens, ducks, and the quail. The main reason we got into raising quail was to have them for meat and eggs and be a little more self-sufficient. And they're a great addition to the homestead in that respect. If you want to learn more about why raising quail, hit this video up here. We go over that in a little more detail.